join me to put your hands together? A round of applause for holistic nutritionist Antonina Bureacenco.
Thank you, Christina. She's amazing. She puts this together for everybody, guys. She doesn't need to, she doesn't have to, but she works so hard to help everyone grow, to help everyone learn. So thank you very much for bringing us all together. It is my great pleasure to be in Ottawa. It's actually my very first time to be in Ottawa. I've traveled for my former career was finance, and I've traveled across Canada for years, but for some reason never made it to the capital. So I'm really happy to be here finally with Enagic. I'm happy to speak to you guys, and you see your beautiful faces. I do hope that what you're going to hear tonight is going to add value to what you already know. So I know how many of you have Enagic Kangen water device on their kitchen counter already? Awesome. How many of you still do not? Okay. There is some work to do here. I'm so excited that we have both the newbies, people here for the first time, and people that are here to come and learn all the time. You probably all agree with me that when it comes to the subject, even though you've probably heard the seminar before, even though you probably heard from multiple speakers, whether online or in person, there's every single time that you've listened to it, you've learned something new. Agreed? Are you ready to learn something new today? Yes. Awesome. I'm in the best crowd ever. So I'm going to start. My name is Antonina. As I mentioned before, I love what I do. I passionately practice preventative medicine. I teach that in the Institute of Holistic Nutrition. I have my own practice in holistic nutrition. I've also studied naturopathy, and I love everything to do with orthomolecular medicine. And what that really means is addressing bodily conditions, addressing diagnoses with natural substances, with things that the body is made from. So again, if something is broken in a car, you can only fix it by using the parts that the car was made from originally to run on, right? So things that actually dynamically interact and interface with that particular vehicle, or same as in our body. Our body is made from what? Vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, all these different types of antioxidants, amino acids, essential fatty acids, all of this good stuff that's made by nature. Is our body made from synthetic chemistry? No. It is not natural to our bodies. So, if the body breaks down, how do we heal that? Do we put synthetic chemicals that have a lot of side effects in, or do we put natural substances that the body is deficient in? Natural. Yeah, if you really want to heal the body, not just manage a condition, you want to start thinking differently. You want to start thinking about how to help the body to recover or to rebuild something it's deficient in. Another reason we get broken down, we break down and we get sick is because we also become toxic. Do we live in a toxic world today? Yes, we do, and it's more and more so. It's more prevalent in our lives today. Toxicity can come from what? From pollution in the air, in the water, in our soil, in our food, toxic thoughts, a lot of stress. Do we live a much more stressful life today than ever before? Absolutely. So it is important to understand that if we have a lot of toxicity and deficiencies, we want to help the body to recover for both. Does that make sense? So one of the best ways to do that is actually use a fantastic substance like water. So today we're going to focus on water, but I'm going to bring in nutrient, like logic of nutrition and nutraceuticals and orthomolecular medicine into this so that you can expand your understanding of why this water is so amazing. Ready? Awesome. Okay, so water. And before I begin, everything I speak about, one important thing from legal perspective is for you guys to understand, while I have my own practice, talking to someone personally, understanding all of their biochemistry and the history is very different than talking to a large audience. So what you're hearing today is for information purposes only. And if you need any medical advice, definitely consult your physician, naturopathic doctor, allopathic doctor. It's definitely up to you. But this is only for education purposes. So the reason I love the subject of water, and I always teach that to all of my clients in my practice or in school, or I definitely make sure, or in public, I want to make sure that they understand how phenomenal the subject is. Because guess what? As a practitioner, I told you we get sick because we are toxic and because we're deficient. If I start addressing deficiencies, what could be better but the largest element in our body? Do you think a lot of the population today deficient in water? we're walking around dehydrated, walking dead. Like we don't have enough hydration because we're consuming things that don't hydrate as well or are diuretic and dehydrate us. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. So if water is such a big element in our body, you know, and there's different opinions about whether it makes up 60% of your body, up to 75% of the body, or 80%, it definitely will depend on the activity level, on your health and intracellular tissue, the health of all of your tissues, and your age. So when you're a little baby, like the beautiful one that's sitting in front of me here, you are much more hydrated, flexible, happy than when you get older, right? You become, it's again, when you regularly dehydrated, it builds up, and you just, again, we dry up like those raisins as we talk about. So if the water makes such a big part of our body, does it make sense for me as a practitioner to recommend water first before I start talking about all other nutrients? And I love using nutritional supplements, and I love using herbs and all these other different modalities that are available to us from holistic perspective, but I have to start with water. So because it's the largest one, because if I don't, I'm actually cheating my clients. They're not going to get the same results with their supplements. They're not going to get the same results with their herbs or with their food. Does that make sense? Awesome. So water number one, and let's talk about what kind of water, because not all water is made the same, correct? So when we think and when we're told, please drink 8 to 10 glasses of water, that's what we hear in media. That's what we know in general. Nobody talks about what kind of water and for who. So we are all individual. Each one of us as a unique biological, biochemical organism that has different needs. Would you agree with that? So your age will determine how much you need. The quality will determine how much you need. Your activity level will determine how much you need. Your weight will determine how much you need. So whether you're a couch potato or an athlete, you have different needs. Whether you are 25 or 55 or 3, all of that matters. Whether you're 300 pounds or 120 pounds. All of that matters. So the amount matters, but then when it comes to quality, we know that there is lots of, water that's marketed to us everywhere, whether you turn on TV or radio or you just go to any local store. A lot of interesting bottles are staring at you, and some companies are definitely really good at marketing it. And then there's lots of misconceptions, information about water and hydration. So people think just grabbing the water bottle will do the trick, and consuming other beverages also contributes to the hydration levels. I would tell you 100% that they are wrong. When you're talking about 8 glasses of water or more, if we want actually therapeutic amounts of water, we want the highest quality water, and we don't want other things like, caffeine and things like that, or dairy, especially with what we've done to the dairy in the last, I would say, about at least 20 years. And so we definitely want to consume the highest quality water. We don't want to consume anything from the bottles. And when it comes to all other beverages, whether it's sodas, whether it's all the beverages that are marketed to us as healthy alternatives, they are not. And I think I'm in the right place to say we know that they're not, right? They have a lot of sugar, artificial ingredients, they have carbon dioxide, all of these things. So we'll talk about that. So, some people are trying to hydrate with that. So when we discuss water, so people understand, okay, well, I need to drink water. I need to step away from soda, step away from other things. I need to drink more water. Well, what kind of water? The first thing we think about, the cheapest thing to drink is tap water. But what is the problem with tap water today? Chlorine among many other chemicals. So we have 200-300 different chemicals that are allowed to be used in our municipal water to disinfect and clean our water. So it will do a really good job at killing pathogens, bacteria, viruses, because waterborne diseases are a big problem. But what happens, now that all of those chemicals are there and they're very aggressive, and if you look at the periodic table, for example, like chlorine and other substances, they're so aggressive, they will attack the virus, bacteria, pathogen, but when they get into your body, guess what they will attack? They will attack your cells. So when you're consuming tap water on a regular basis, guess what's going to happen? You are going to cause deterioration to your stomach lining. Guess what else is going to happen? You're going to cause a lot of deterioration and damage and death to your microbiome or microbiota or good bacterium. We have 35,000 different species living in our gut. We're not sterile beings, like Pasteur said. We are very complex beings. We have more bacteria DNA in our body than we have human DNA, and we're coexisting with them. And so what we need to understand that we need to nurture, respect, and understand this bacterium, because this is where, and there's, there are arguments about whether it's 60 or 80% of your immune system resides in small, large intestine, especially in small. So we need to respect that. But what happens when you're pouring glasses of chemicals into your body that's bathing in your stomach lining causes the damage and toxicity to the parietal tissue and all these other tissues that are lining up your stomach, and then you can't properly produce digestive juices and hydrochloric acid and all these things. And then as it moves further down the track, guess what happens? It now starts killing off your bacterium. So every time I see people coming to me and when they start complaining of digestive disorders, I'm like, are you by any chance drinking tap water? Yes, I love water, so I drink a lot of tap water. So that's one of the reasons to remove that from our life. So we need to at least do what? Filter that, at least. That will be the very bare minimum. Okay, well, another option as we're on the go, as we're driving, doing our day-to-day activities, going to Costco and buying big, a lot of people, we used to go and buy big pallets of water bottles, because what? It's convenient. So we're living in the age of convenience and on the go, and we're not really aware of the choices that we're making. So what is the issue with the bottled water industry today, or overall? Any ideas? Well, thoughts? I know you have the answers. Plastic. So the plastic for the environment, in the last 10 years, mostly in the last 10 years, is when we created a huge amount of pollution across the world, in our oceans, in our waters, in our landfill, in our land. We are burying this by millions of tons every day, so across the world. So the big problem with plastic is not only we're poisoning in our environment, whether land or water, we're poisoning all life around it. And we are up in the food chain, so we are going to be poisoned as this accumulation happens, and as we're consuming, especially animal products and like a larger fish and things like that. We're accumulating all of that. So, but what else is happening is when we're actually drinking from the plastic bottles. And has anybody heard of this latest study that about a month ago, I think, when I saw it surface on social media, when they showed that most bottled water, plastic bottled waters, have hundreds, and in some cases thousands, of microscopic plastic elements in every bottle. How scary is that? Think about how many thousands of those particles the body is consuming every day, and how much energy, antioxidants, and other nutrients the body has to use. Instead of doing all the important functions, it has to use to detox the person from those chemicals, so that it doesn't stay in the body, doesn't contaminate our cells, and doesn't clog up all of our detoxifying organs like liver, kidneys, our digestive tract, and overall our tissue. So this is really scary. So not only we're not helping with this kind of water, because regular water, because we call it dead water, or the water doesn't have enough charge or alkalinity or proper chemistry, it's not really absorbable. In general, the water that comes from tap or bottled water is considered to be 12 to 15% hydration level. So some of it will get into the cells. But let's talk about 80, 90% hydration. So it's not hydrating as well, and yet it causes toxicity. The big problem with bottled water and the plastics, which are what? Petrochemicals. This is petroleum chemicals that these bottles are made from. The problem is not only polluting the environment, as you're drinking this, all those estrogen-mimicking toxins, they're getting into your tissues. They're actually mimicking your hormones, causing a lot of damage and misunderstanding on the cellular level and the hormone level. And hormones are messengers, so we have a lot of estrogen-mimicking toxicity. We have a lot of estrogen dominance in today's society. We have a lot of women who have overabundance of estrogen. And guess what does? When we cause toxicity or disbalance in one kind of hormone, we start, it rolls over to other hormones, and we have a lot of disbalances with other hormones. Do we have a lot of hormonal disbalances today? Absolutely, that's a big problem, right? So is that a good option? No, absolutely. So third option, we usually look at reverse osmosis as an option. It's considered to be pure water, medically stating it is a pure water. It's considered to be, well cleaned. So it's really good and easy to use in medical research, or just for basic chemistry, for some kind of research, or just in the lab. So it makes for good water when the water just comes through. It takes out the heavy metals, pesticides, chemicals, and other things. But the problem is, it also takes out all good stuff, right? All the good minerals and other nutrients that are naturally occurring in water. So, the Soviet Union, Russian scientists and Japanese scientists called this water dead water. So this is considered to be dead water because it doesn't have any life forms. It doesn't have anything that's life-affirming for our body. So it usually will be very acidic, and the body will have to buffer that using your own minerals from the body to buffer and neutralize this acidity. So is this the best option out there? Possibly not. Yeah. Well, there's another option that emerged 44 years ago. There was lots of research done. Actually, even starting, when it comes to hydrogen, or it comes to is about 1798, so end of 1700s, 1800. But there was a lot of research was done in Russia. When they started looking a lot into actually creating electrolysis, and they published a lot of research in magazines. And I've actually met people whose fathers will create a little electrodes and electrolysis systems in their garages and things like that. And I've actually met a doctor who worked with this at that time. And so, but what they did, they've worked with this. They talked a lot about it. They published information, but they never did anything about it. So it was just a lot of really good science or conversation, but it never amounted to anything. The best thing about Japanese, they look at what's out there, what's the best in the world out there, and what can they improve on. So picked up this technology, and about 50 years ago, they started, delving into it deeper and deeper. And this technology is now in the medical grade devices, and have been perfected for the last 44 years. So this is what we're going to do, and we're going to compare what this technology can do and what it does and how it compares to other technologies, or other, not technologies, but what other waters and what other outputs and what kind of drinks that we have. How do we compare the beverages and what's best? So this is a fascinating technology. 8 years ago when I was introduced to it, I didn't understand how fascinating this is. It piqued my interest dramatically. I was shocked at how much I didn't know, and I thought I knew a lot at that time. And it's been a never-ending ride of amazement of how incredible and what it can do, especially in therapeutic application. So I hope I'll be able to kind of deliver and explain why it does that as we move along. So what makes it different? When I said therapeutic application, any water will kind of like keep you alive as long as it's not poison and contaminated, right? So we'll keep you alive, we'll give you some sustenance and ability to survive and last through the day and stay hydrated to a certain level. But to allow for therapeutic function, you need to have all three properties. If you want therapeutic effects on the body, not just basic hydration, but therapeutic quality of hydration, you need to have all three properties. And you can get all these three properties if you have enough time and money to travel to Lourdes de France, Talcota, Mexico, Hansa Valley. If you want to go live there in the mountains and get glacier milks running down and bathing in it and drinking it and eating organic food around there, you're probably also going to be, it's got blue zones. You can live a happy life in that community, but not many of us can, right? We can't just run to Himalayas and live our life there. We're meant to be here. So how do we bring this over to our cities? How do we bring this over to our home? How do we benefit from it, not only on a vacation or a retreat? How do we benefit from it every single day? And so let's talk about that. We definitely need all three. So I'll talk about each one individually and why all three are so important, okay? So the very first one is an antioxidant. How many of you heard of antioxidants before? All of you, right? Awesome. So antioxidants are important. We definitely want antioxidants to deal with all of the oxidation that happens in the environment and oxidation that comes from stress. So it is a very natural bodily response to a lot of metabolic functions, to a lot of activity. Generally the body will always deal with some oxidation. It will use oxidative processes to protect you, or as I said, as a metabolic byproduct. So it's natural to have some kind of oxidative stress in our body. And there are some oxidants in the body that will do a good job at taking care of pathogens and things like that. So it's okay, it's normal to have. What we don't want to have an overwhelming amount of it consistently in a natural form. And in today's world, as we said, we have a lot of oxidants coming in from pollution, coming in from anything, from carpets, from your walls, from your paints, from your new cars, from exhausts, from products that people put on their body. You have to start questioning, what are you putting on your skin every day? And most people don't understand that just because it's on the shelf doesn't mean it's healthy and it's allowable. I always tell people, if you can't eat it, don't put it on your skin. This is your biggest organ. It's breathing. It's your biggest detoxifying organ, your skin. So you don't want to pollute it with things that have 30 different ingredients. Usually 95% of them are cancer-causing. So we really need to become a lot more mindful of what we brush our teeth with, what we put our deodorant every day, what we're bathing in, what we're putting in, because that is our environment. And only when we understand our environment well and start thinking and become more critical and invest in companies or give our money, we vote with our dollars every day, guys. What you buy every day, what kind of products you buy every day, makes a difference on what kind of companies survive and what kind of companies continue to grow. And we know there's lots of multinational corporations out there that are growing, but not for the good reason. And then they literally hijacked our media, and this is all you see. You start media doing what? Marketing us all the toxic chemicals and toxic foods, fast foods, and then drugs. So there's this never-ending wheel of like marketing of all the things that we don't want to consume. But it's a perfect business because one requires another. Does that make sense? So how do we move away from that? How do we start supporting what's good for us and do it right? Well, we start understanding antioxidants and we start bringing things that are supporting us rather than things that are causing toxicity. So regular antioxidants can come from food, correct? We can eat our goji berries, our blueberries, all of our things, like a lot of herbs, things like turmeric that we'll talk about later, all of the things that have a lot of antioxidants in them. The beautiful thing that we have it abundant in nature. The one thing about consuming antioxidants in your food is that it requires a lot of work. Your body has to take in, break down your food, digest it, assimilate it, and then from whatever it assimilated, synthesize and create antioxidants. And only then those antioxidants work. The beautiful thing about the antioxidant we're going to talk about today, it's a very easy antioxidant. You do not need to do anything about it. It goes right in and it feeds every cell, and it's just so fascinating in comparison to other antioxidants. And what's beautiful, it's very selective. It will never take out oxidants that can actually benefit your body, because there are some oxidizers and agents that can benefit your body. This antioxidant, hydrogen as an antioxidant in water, is a very selective, smart antioxidant that only puts away and destroys or dismantles oxidants or pro-oxidants that are bad for our body. This is a fascinating thing about hydrogen. I'll go to that a little bit more. But usually, a lot of antioxidants, they will donate an electron to a free radical, so it stops trying to steal it from a healthy cell. And when you steal an electron from a healthy cell, well, guess what happens? That cell dies prematurely or starts mutating. So now we donated an electron to this cell or to this free radical. It's pacified. Guess what happened to this one? It became a free radical. And some antioxidants, that's how that's what happens. But the beautiful thing about a smart antioxidant like hydrogen gas is that it never becomes void. It just is an antioxidant. It just is a donor as an electron that just takes care of free radical and just dissipates. It just becomes water. Whatever, the free radical becomes water, and that's it. So it's a smart antioxidant value. So we can actually measure antioxidants by looking at this table, because we're going to be measuring antioxidants in liquids. And I believe this is the smartest and the best way for you to get antioxidants. What can be simpler, taking supplements every day or drinking water? Drinking water is the fastest, easiest way to take in antioxidants. And the water, our water, this is the best technology that produces highest amounts of antioxidants found in nature, of the smartest antioxidant on the planet. So our machine, this phenomenal device made in Japan, becomes a perfect delivery system of antioxidants to every cell in your body. Isn't that fascinating? Aren't we lucky to know about it? Amazing. So antioxidants, here's a neutral antioxidant reading. If we go into positive reading, if we don't show a minus, we show a plus in front of any reading of whatever we measure, we are going to show oxidation, how much oxidation it contributes to. So is it surprised that we see coffee being oxidizing, bottled water with all of its chemicals being oxidizing, water that has chemicals or has been denatured, or things that are water plus carbon dioxide plus sugar that they're oxidizing? Is that a surprise? Absolutely not. What are antioxidants that we know of? We talked about some many foods, organic, healthy, freshly picked, local fruits and vegetables, greens, and superfoods can be very antioxidant. But, and of course, supplements can be very antioxidant. Vitamin C is a fantastic recycling antioxidant in the body. Green tea, if it's grown in the beautiful, pristine places, hasn't been tampered with, hasn't been processed, it will be a great antioxidant, has a lot of flavonoids and a lot of other things. Beautiful thing is we can generate a lot of antioxidants unparalleled to anything else that can come that is bioavailable right away. So let's use this fancy device called ORP meter, oxidative reduction potential meter, or the best way to actually remember this, guys, is the meter that's going to help us understand and see whether whatever we are drinking has the potential to reduce oxidation. So always read it backwards. Potential to reduce oxidation. Okay? So I'm going to use this very sensitive probe and test all the waters that we have here. Can everybody see it here? Somewhat? Okay. So I'm just going to open all of these waters first. So what we have represented here is a whole series of waters that are very, I guess, famous or regular to be seen on the shelf, correct? Do these look familiar, guys? Yeah, all of these are pretty much representation of many others that are out there on the market. So we have representation of reverse osmosis waters. We have representation of waters that have come from springs or distilled waters. We have waters that have been made into or marketed into something that's supposed to be healthy for us, like vitamin water. I'll talk about that when we pick it up. Oops. I love making a mess and playing with these bottles. So we have these as examples, and what do we have? We have Perrier and Pellegrino. Isn't it like, when you come to a nice restaurant and you always asked okay, what kind of water would you like? Would you like would you like sparkling or flat? And guess what sounds really nice to answer? You always go, oh, sparkling, please. Don't you feel fancy when you drink it? Well, it might be fancy at the time, but who do you have to impress but your body? So we'll talk about how unhealthy it is actually for our body and why. And then we have tap water, Ottawa's finest tap water, and then we have Kangen water that I hope you guys are drinking. To your right, you have tables set up with a lot of with containers and delicious water. So please have some while you're sitting here. So this very sensitive probe, as you know, the tip of it is going to help us measure and see if it can catch those electrons and antioxidants. And we're going to see how many are in each glass. So, what is your name? Sorry. Marcy, would you help me with the numbers? So Marcy's going to give us the numbers that she sees on the meter. Just a general. 793. Oh my goodness. Okay, so it's plus. Is there a minus in front of it? Plus. So there is a plus 780, 790. So, Dasani, again, how many people are spending money every day on drinking this, thinking that they do the body good? So is that good or bad? Is it antioxidant or oxidant? It's very bad. It's very oxidizing. As a matter of fact, it's off the charts, guys. It's so oxidizing, it's beyond 500. Okay, so let's take a look at smart water. Mercy? 746. In the 700 as well. Isn't that fascinating? Wow. All right, so what do we have to say about this well-marketed water called Life Water? And it says that it's purified water, pH balanced, and has electrolytes. 714. I didn't see any electrolytes in there. All right. So how about Evian? Is it a famous water? Yes. Spring water brought from pristine places, but then it's been in a bottle. I call this packaged food. Even the water was incredible at the time of bottling. It's then been en route anywhere from a month to 2 years. You don't know where it was stored, on which shelf it laid, and then it sits there, it just sits there. So it's packaged food. It's like you package water, you literally, it's dead. 646, so it's better, but is it still good enough? No. Still off the charts, okay. Well, how about Gatorade? Or this always compares to vitamin waters as well. 700 range. Can everybody see it? Okay, 700 range. How about per year? 560. Oh, that's surprising. Because usually when you dissolve carbon dioxide in the water, it's very acidic. But still, we don't want to be drinking this. But usually it'll be even more acidic than regular water because there's a big difference between dissolving carbon dioxide in the water or dissolving hydrogen in the water. Carbon dioxide will be very, very oxidative, while hydrogen will be very antioxidant. Okay, so now we have carbon dioxide plus sugar in sodas. What is the number here? 630. Interesting. Okay, so 630 off the charts again, still off the charts. So we have acidic water, oxygen, just non-antioxidant water. Then we have oxidized water. Then we have sugar. Then we have carbon dioxide. Let's take a look at tap water. 520. Wow, it's better. We actually see a lot of a higher number in Vancouver because we have so many rains. They add extra water, extra chlorine in there, just as the water tables get diluted. So it always has enough chlorine. So we have a lot of chlorine, sometimes probably more than you guys. Okay, and what about the water that you're drinking today?
Good.
Minus 700. Can everybody see a minus 700? Yeah. 760. And this is in the glass where it was just now interacting with air. What if I'll take this and put it in a bottle that's been tightly closed? What do we have now? 790? Almost 800? 800. It reached 800. Because again, hydrogen is very unstable. It's dissolved in water, but as we're shaking it, moving it, exposing it to air, it's going to start diminishing. So we want our water as fresh as possible. You cannot bottle this. In 2 days, there's going to be no more hydrogen left. It's a very important element to understand. Hydrogen needs to be consumed freshly, and the fresher you have it, the more value for the body you will deliver. Was that fun? Awesome. So, talking about antioxidants, let's go into discussing what does that mean when it comes to trying to consume food with antioxidants. So what does it mean when hydrogen is dissolved in water and delivered to our body so efficiently versus consuming foods or consuming other antioxidants and other elements and other drinks? So we have green tea considered to be an antioxidant. On average, if it's the highest quality green tea, organic tea from beautiful, pristine places, non-processed, probably with good water, it will be a minus 100. Then we have vitamin C, of course, whole food vitamin C, and it has a recycling potential. And it's usually about minus 57, but let's combine it together with the recycling potential because it can be reused by the body. So let's make it a minus 100. So if you just drank a cup of green tea, or a drink that has a high amount of vitamin C, let's say you've therapeutic amount of nutraceutical form, you get minus 100. What happens if you just go to one minus 200? So double that. You will need to drink, and that's kind of a logarithmic scale of 6.9. You will need to drink almost 7 glasses of vitamin C beverage or green tea beverage to get the same amount as 1 glass of water if our water was minus 200, correct? Well, what if our water was minus 300? You would have to drink 48 glasses of green tea or like beverages. Minus 400, 328. Minus 500 is 2,267. Minus 600, 15,000 drinks. Minus 700. Is that what we had? We had 700 in the glass, and then we had 800 in the container. So we have minus 107,000, or 700,044. Isn't that fascinating? The potential of this, the incredible logarithmic potential of this, in aiding us on a cellular level. So, can anybody imagine drinking anything past this to get the same amount of antioxidants in the day? No. That is why, and this is what makes this water incredibly therapeutic. So let's discuss this further. Why is this so therapeutic? Well, because incredible molecular hydrogen or diatomic hydrogen, H2, is the smallest element, is the smallest antioxidant available. So if you look at the periodic table, it's going to be first, because it's gas. It's the smallest, it's the lightest. So if you compare that weight of molecular hydrogen to other antioxidants, is there a huge difference? What do you think is going to find it easier to get into the cell? Hydrogen, right? So the beautiful thing about hydrogen, it doesn't only get into the cell, it gets into the mitochondria, which is the cellular engines. Your cells have mitochondria in them, and they're little engines that creating energy, creating ATP. And what are you doing? You're providing this liquid, like incredible hydrogen, as a fuel source for your mitochondria to work better. This is why we see children do so well on it, even children with behavioral issues, brain issues. This is why we see people having better cognition. This is why we have people having better sleep. This is why we have people having this incredible antioxidant response to this on the therapeutic level. Because hydrogen, and today we have over 700 studies that show how incredible hydrogen is, and across multiple disease models. And we have Dr. Fields who talks about hydrogen in human tissues and human models as well. So it's fascinating, and this is why it works so well. So again, this is an incredible technology that gives you therapeutic amount of hydrogen to be used on a daily basis. Isn't that an incredible thing that you can literally be therapeutically aiding your body every all through the day, every hour if you wanted to? Imagine how expensive that would be to go to a doctor for a therapy like this. Yes, so it's unparalleled. All right, so this just goes into how, hydrogen is an antioxidant a little bit more. I do talk about this with doctors, but I'm going to skip it for now just to keep it on a more of a fun conversation. So how many of you have heard of alkalinity? Okay, most of you, it's a very big buzzword. A lot of people talk about alkalinity in holistic sciences and nutrition and naturopathy. There's lots of discussions about how incredible alkalinity is and how important it is for the body. And why is it considered to be good? We usually refer to foods that are acidic or alkaline, and not so much at the time to taste. So the lemon can be very acidic, but post-digestion, it gives you alkaline ash, alkaline buffers, that gives you minerals, and that becomes an alkaline reserve or alkaline aid for the body to deal with toxicity and acidity in the environment with whatever you're consuming. So it's not about so much the taste, whether it's acidic or alkaline, it's so much about what does this food break down to and digest into. We want alkaline ash forming foods. We want whatever is broken down to for that to be alkaline. Why do we want that? Well, we want, and people are asking me, well, Antonina, our blood is 7.365. Why do we need something alkaline? Or Antonina, our stomach is acidic. Why do we want something alkaline? Isn't it going to interfere with our stomach or gut production, hydrochloric acid or digestive system? It will not if you consume it properly, and it will not if you understand how this works. The body has different pHs in different organs and liquids in your body. If everybody can turn off their cell phones, that would be awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. So we have your blood is 7.365, but different parts of your body and different tissues have different pH. Your skin is slightly acidic. Your saliva is alkaline, slightly alkaline. Your digestive juice, only when you're breaking down food is when you're creating hydrochloric acid. That could be 2, 3 pH. But the bile that then aids in digestion after the food moved further, the morsel of food moved further in, the liver produces bile, and the gallbladder excretes the bile into the digestive tract to do what? It's very alkaline. It's above 8 pH to bathe it in alkaline elements so that the body can, synthesize proteins, digest fats. So there's a lot of organ, like even as your food moves down digestive tract, it is impacted by different pHs, by different things, different fluids, different digestive elements that are important for breaking down, assimilating, synthesizing, and creating certain things. So there's lots of things that are going on. So what we want to do is we want to have as many alkaline buffers, as many alkaline nutrients that will be stored in our body, so when we need them, the body can use them to do something body needs, right? So what is in our diet that's very alkalizing? Ideas. natural foods, right? Things that grow on the plant, on the green plant, not the things that come from what? From manufacturing plant. Does that make sense? So we want things that are not packaged, nice, alive, fresh as possible, organic as possible, the foods that our grandparents used to eat, okay? So we want things that are very, very alive. They have a lot of minerals, nutrients. So this means greens, fruits, vegetables, right? A lot of things that are alive and produced by nature. This is what we meant to eat. What do we eat instead? What is acidic? Yeah, so animal byproducts, grains, sugars, processed foods, microwaved foods, dairy. It's like everything that's on your Canadian food guide pyramid. It's like everything of what not to eat. It is unfortunate because there's lots of misconception, misunderstanding in dietetics and in conventional understanding of what it is. And this is why, and we had this propagated to us for the last, 50, 70 years, and look at what we've done to our society. Are we healthier today or sicker? Are we fatter today or thinner? Do we have better cognitive function or less? Are we on more drugs than ever before or less? Do we have more cancer and diabetes or less? You know the answer. So we really need to understand, we really need to go back to nature and understand how important it is to consume things that we are made to eat in nature and get as close to nature's logic and understand this through observing nature, not through being marketed on TV. Make sense? This is what our children need, this is what we need. So, all right, was that any longer due? I'm just going to use this, pH drops, potential hydrogen drops, and I'm going to put, this measures the H plus, really, but we're going to put some of these drops in each glass that measures acidity. So we are going to see whatever we are consuming, whether it has a positive or a negative effect in this scope of things when you're looking at individually adjust alkalinity. So for those of you who can't see, we have the sunny water, acidic or alkaline? Acidic. So usually about 4 or 5 pH. Sometimes they'll add things into it. Then we have smart water, kind of acidic to neutral. It's trying, so again, but it's been processed to be that pH. You can chemically alter pH of things, and this is what a lot of bottle companies do, to appear alkaline, but it doesn't mean that it's good for us, and I'll talk about that shortly. So we have Avian. Usually spring waters will be neutral or slightly alkaline, which is better, but again, because they have minerals in them, and sometimes artificially added, sometimes natural. Then we have Gatorade and vitamin waters. They all have a very acidic environment. Then we have Perrier. Isn't this fascinating? Very acidic, right? So carbon dioxide, guys, this is a byproduct of you breathing. The body is trying to get rid of carbon dioxide every time you take a breath out. You exhale. Breathe in, right? Deep, deep breath now. You breathe in air, you used oxygen, and then you expelled carbon dioxide. Why do we want to put something that the body is always expelling back into our body in artificial amounts on large scale? Why? Why are we marketed to do that? Again, it's the gas of carbon dioxide that's artificially dissolved there. It's not naturally occurring. So again, let's go back to nature. Does that happen in nature? No, not in things that we need to be drinking. Well, and let's add some sugar to it, and let's see what happens there. Highly acidic. So all sodas are compared to very often to what? To battery acids, to like something that's very acidic, 2, 3 pH. Then we have tap water. Shows to be acidic, tries to be a little bit neutral. And again, because it uses so many chemicals that are very acidic, then they use other chemicals because alkaline chemistry can be created through altering. So what they do, they will use acidic chemistry first to kill the pathogens, then we'll use alkaline chemistry and use other chemicals. Just because it's alkaline doesn't mean they're good for us. They use other chemicals to then neutralize it. So the pipes last longer, and the municipalities are, don't have to be replaced as often. Here is the water that has been altered electrically. And this is what shows also another way to show how much antioxidant hydrogen is in there that makes it alkaline. The alkalinity in this technology is a byproduct of creating hydrogen, so it's just a value add. It's not the most important feature. The most important health feature is your hydrogen is an antioxidant, and it happens to also be very alkaline and beneficial for the body. Why do we want to be alkaline? What happens when the body starts getting enough alkaline minerals and nutrients and it's not acidified? It can finally detox, guys. If your body is acidic, your toxins are going to be stored or recycled, like just moved in the body. When your body becomes alkaline, there are special transfer proteins in each cell that are activated. They're like little bridges. They flip open, and the cell can push out the toxins. So has anybody ever gone on the raw food vegan diet? Tried it. Awesome. Has anybody tried, green, just doing juice cleanse? Right? Juice cleanses. Has anybody tried, just changing your diet, all this? What happens? Or drinking Kangen water, you start detoxing. Why? Because now you're bringing in all of these nutrients, alkaline elements, and now you start detoxing. Because now finally the cells are, oh my God, I have all the tools to detox, and I have the ability to transport those toxins from within the cell out. Have a little helper here. She's so cute. All right, so what happens, guys? We are born, if we're born to a healthy mother, natural birth, and things like that, we are born very flexible, healthy, vibrant, we smell good, we're plump, we are very hydrated, and then we start consuming things that are in the vending machines, in schools, and everywhere, and we start getting what? Acidic. Tired, very, very depleted in nutrition, because this will draw a lot of nutrients out of your body. So, okay, so we've gotten to a very acidic state, but as we know, if we help our friends to get on a better diet and or introduce this water to their body, we're going to be able to change the chemistry of their body so the body will get what it needs. It's not that the water heals people, it's just the perfect element to help their body heal itself. The body always knows what to do. It's a self-healing machine. It heals and works with every cell every single day. So it's constantly repairing you, regenerating you. It's amazing. So here. Oh, Christina, something happened to my screen. I'll add this water to all these other beverages, and I'm going to make them more alkaline. However, when it comes to all the sodas, for those of you who are first time, or drinks, they're beverages that are sold to us as a healthy alternative, it's almost impossible to alkalize them. It takes a lot of this water to neutralize 1 glass of soda or carbonated beverage. On average, we're saying 35, 40 glasses of this water to neutralize 1 glass of soda. I've done tests when it takes up to 100 to 1. We're just being very, conservative when we say that. So is this a problem in our society? Are many people drinking this? Not 1 glass. Are many people drinking this? Are little kids drinking this? Absolutely. And not usually a small amount. Supersize me, containers, refillable stuff, right? So tap water, we can change that. So what happens if I now just take 1 little sip of soda? 1 little sip of soda. I just erased all the value of drinking that incredible water. So when our friends and family are trying this water, it's really important that they stay away. Oops, I wanted to do very little, but we really, really need them to stay away from things like this so they can experience the benefits, so they will know for themselves. They really need to test it on their body and see the difference. So I'm not going to do it to the rest of them just for the sake of time, but you get the idea. This will ruin everything. There should be cancer and diabetes labels, like warnings on all of this, but the lobby of this beverages is so strong. There are billions of dollars behind in this industry. You have to understand that we have no chance of standing against and allowing, it's just unfortunate, they're just not ethical about it. So we need to educate our friends and family. This is why it's such a big movement. So thank you for doing your part. So is this awesome? Understanding alkalinity a little bit better? Do we need it for detoxification? Awesome. All right. So the beautiful thing about how this alkalinity is created is that we're filtering the water first from a lot of acidic chemicals, so a lot of petrochemicals, a lot of heavy metals, a lot of chlorines that make it acidic. We take away all those chemicals, the minerals are left within, and when the water travels through the chamber, it's then get dissociated into 2 streams, alkaline and acidic. This is what used to be called in Russia like live and dead water. So This is really fascinating. So this is how we're creating alkalinity. Through electrolysis, there's this lightning storm that happens within the machine. Have you guys ever been outside right after the lightning storm happened? Isn't this the most invigorating feeling? You just want to breathe and you want it to never stop. You feel very hydrated. Your brain turns on. Your body feels amazing. You want to run around, run up and down, and go hiking and things like that. That's how much vigor that it brings. Well, and that's because it's charged. The air is charged. And then guess what? In a day, it all dissipates. But this is what's beautiful about it. This is what we're doing. We're bringing the water back to its natural state. This is what happened in waterfalls. This is why you come up with waterfalls and you just don't want to leave. You don't want to leave because it's so amazing to breathe there. So this is a natural process that's brought to your home onto your counter. All right, so property number 3. Property number 3, I call it restructuring, or I actually call it just bioavailability. And guys, you need to understand that bioavailability cannot happen. This will not happen without the other 2 properties. This is why it's important that whatever you're drinking has all 3. It is antioxidant, it's naturally electrically alkaline through electrolysis, and now it has this amazing bioavailability because all of your cell membranes, this, for example, the membrane, you will have every cell has an intracellular pH and extracellular pH, intracellular charge and extracellular charge. So what happens, the cell that has, this is a cellular membrane, it has a positive charge here. So if the water was a positive charge, if the water was acidic, would that suck it in or would it repel like a magnet? It will be like a magnet, it will be thrown out. But now because the water is negatively charged and has this phenomenally small hydrogen as well, it can be sucked into the cell and hydrate every cell on a molecular level to the best of its ability. Does that make sense? So it has this phenomenal ability at hydrating every cell and every tissue. So that's really fascinating. So let's actually test this. Let's take a look at what does that mean and how that can actually be applied, or what kind of test we can see to demonstrate this value. So I'm going to wash 2 sets of tomatoes from the same container. And I'm going to make a mess before I do that. I'm just stretching uncomfortably. That's what happens. It's good that I have somebody like Christina around all the time to clean up my mess. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate it. So we have this tomatoes, and guess what happens? So we're talking about, okay, our body 75% water, the other 20-25%, what is it? 30%. It's food. It's all the other microelements that the bodies and the cells are made from, correct? So do we get it from chemicals, or do we get it from real food and real substances? We get it from nutrients, right? So where do we get our nutrients from our food? So let's say we went and bought nice food, whether it's supermarket or whether you went to farmer's market. You bought food, you brought it home. What do you usually wash it? Tap water. So let's bathe or wash some tomatoes in tap water. And wash another set of tomatoes in 11.5 water, and I'll refer to this water later and explain why it's so amazing and what it does here specifically. So I'll let it sit here for about a minute while I do other tests, just to wash it deeper and better. Now that it's being washed, I'm going to do a little test on oil. I know many of you have seen this. We have sesame seed oil. Smells amazing. It's probably one of the best smelling oils out there. So, except for truffle, of course. Okay, so we have sesame seed oil in both. And what do we know about oil and water? Chemistry 101. It does not mix. So if I was to use tap water, my chemistry teacher will be right. Even in my nutrition school, my chemistry teacher said it doesn't mix, and I proved her wrong. Regular water doesn't, because it has different surface tension. It has no ability to emulsify. So now I will use Kangen water, the water that you're drinking, just with a higher pH, and I will add that to the glass. This was fascinating to me when I saw this demo for the first time. This was the first thing that just absolutely blew my mind, and I needed to figure out how does it do that. And just think about the scientific, physiological implications of this on your body. There are many. Again, it's its permeability, it's the surface tension, its ability, it's this charge that really creates this dissociation and breakdown. So it's really fascinating and what it can do. So Let me move it to the next slide. Hiromi Shinya, how many of you have seen his work and seen his videos? If you haven't, you need to go Kangen Water and Colon Health on YouTube. You'll find videos anywhere from 5 minutes to 10 to 20 minutes, and you'll learn so much about the digestive system. What he's done incredibly, he's a fantastic gastroenterologist. I believe he's the best in the world. He's contributed the most to the field, anything from inventing certain procedures to practicing all of his life and treating 370 plus thousand colons. So he's the most renowned and respected person in colon hydrotherapy, in colonoscopy, when it comes to surgery and everything. He's a phenomenal physician who dedicated his life to digestive health. And just like I think he would say, or maybe somebody else, just like you see your, kind of your soul through your eyes, you can see the rest of your body and how it works through, if you put the camera up the chimney, you can really see what's going on in there, because it will really show you. Because honestly, like in nutrition world, we always talk about we're like a sphere, we're like a donut. This is the digestive tract is really still and outside of your body. You are just as food is put through it. It's whatever is absorbing in the body that really matters. It's what the body is consuming, absorbing, and not eliminating. So the beautiful thing is that his work is really beautifully showcases how congested people are. And on average in North America, people walk around with 12, 15 pounds of waste, right? And that's just minimum. And guess what? When you're walking around with all that waste, it's putrefying, fermenting, and it's re-entering your blood. And we're going to talk and we're going to hear from a wonderful, practitioner and professional who works with blood, and she can probably talk about how many endotoxins and how many chemicals, how many pathogens can be found in the blood, because now they're entering through sometimes whether a healthy gut or sometimes a lot of us have leaky gut, and where all of that enters into the blood, because if you have a lot of inflammation, putrefaction, you will have a lot of that re-entering into the blood, and you're poisoning blood effectively, so efficiently, and that's not a good thing. So his books are amazing. There are other incredible doctors that talk about the fascinating aspects of this water. Again, if you fix digestion, it's pretty much majority of your problems are fixed, because if this is broken, the rest of the body won't function. But then there's other applications of this water, and where we can study on all other disease models and all other references to other conditions, and how this water is fascinating. We have a fantastic book written by Robert Wright, who talks about killing cancer, not people, talking about natural remedies or natural treatments when it comes to cancer, instead of using synthetic chemistry and lowering your immunity. And then we have Dr. Tim McKnight, who put together a fantastic book quite a few years ago with a lot of scientific references, and why and what made him, as a skeptical physician, really understand the science of this water. We have Dr. Filter, a Harvard professor who dedicated and worked in Harvard all of his life, performed incredible research, on Kangen water, specifically on human tissue. And then we have a lot of research in Molecular Hydrogen Foundation, and a lot of information is published on PubMed if you search for it properly. You do not go to PubMed or online and search for science looking for alkalized water or ionized water or anything like that. You go and you look for electrolyzed reduced water. You go and look for scientific names for this water, ERW water. So, and of course, we have these are just 10% of all the words, but this is just the big ones. So I just wanted to keep it clean and put some of that on the page. ISO certifications are really, really important. No other technology in the market and industry has it. Any other technologies that claim to produce hydrogen, incredible alkaline waters, they do not have the certification. This is probably the most fascinating part to this technology. It's a medical grade device that has this award or this accreditation for facility, for the machine, and for the filter itself. So it's the highest quality you can find. Of course, made in Japan says a lot as well. We have Water Quality Association give us a gold medal, which is fascinating. This is what allows us to put it in the restaurants, and a lot of doctors, holistic practitioners, use this in their clinics, which I absolutely love, seeing more and more doctors utilizing this and understanding this, because many of them sometimes are very close-minded, but when they open their mind, when they give it a test, they really understand the potential and the fascination with this incredible element. So lots of certificates out there. This is just some. Let's quickly, there we go. I didn't wash my tomatoes yet. I'll quickly, guys, show you the difference. Maybe I'll have Christina do that before I make a mess again. In the meantime, I'll quickly talk about chlorine. What do we know about chlorine? Is this a good water?
It's pre-filtered.
Oh, this is pre-filtered.
Yeah.
Do we have a non-filtered one?
No.
Okay, well, we're not going to talk about chlorine on the demo table. We're going to talk about it here. On average, as you all know, you can smell chlorine in your water. Would you agree? Tap water? All of our waters, at least I know in Canada and US, we have a lot of chlorine in our water because that's what they use as the most common agent to disinfect our water. Chlorine is a very aggressive chemical. It goes right in to kill and suffocate the pathogens. So usually I see when we test the water, chlorinated water from the tap or the showers, we usually get in about this range. And again, as I told you, if there was a rain coming on, they're going to put more chlorine in the water so that when it dilutes and the water tables rise, there is still sufficient amount of chlorine to kill pathogens. So the problem with that, they killed pathogens, fantastic, but now it's still in the water. It's slowly killing us. So we want to take it out. And usually we see it in quite large concentration. And you can try this at home. Put a chlorine tester. Your water will turn yellow or orange. Drop a tomato there. Like just open up a little tomato, drop in there, swirl it around. In seconds, it's milliseconds, all that chlorine, all that yellow water is going to be in the tomato. That's how fast it absorbs into your skin. So if you're still bathing in a shower that's not filtering chlorine, you have to understand, if it's hot water, you're bathing in warm, hot water, you're breathing in chlorine gas, and guess what else? And you're absorbing a lot through your skin. As the water falls on your skin, the chlorine is very reactive. It's just hugging onto your skin and into your tissue and causes damage to your skin. That's why a lot of people walk out of the shower and they're scaly and they have to use some kind of lotions to put it on. So use the chlorine filter and then put some cacao butter on yourself, coconut oil, put some olive oil, put the real stuff on your skin and nutrate your skin, but you won't have such a dry skin as you would have with a chlorinated water. As soon as you clean it, you're going to see a huge difference. So this is I just had fun with the slide. It was fun to kind of crop all of these guys into here. This is just representation of about 5, maybe 10% of some of the faces that you know. You don't know all my friends and family and maybe some of your friends on this water already, but these are the people that you know. And so these are the people that I think are familiar to most of us, even if you don't watch TV. I don't, but I kind of know these guys. I don't know how. It's just everybody talking about stuff. So this is just some of the athletes that are on this water, some of the best athletes that are on this water. Guys, they have the best chiropractors, the best nutritionists, the best naturopathic doctors, the best of the best. So for them, performance, sometimes think about what this water can do for performance. And for an athlete, let's say if you're a runner, the difference between the gold medal and being in the last place sometimes is less than a second or a second away. So would it make sense to use something that helps the body to regenerate, rebuild, or not have a fatigue? We have the scientific research that shows if you take hydrogen-rich water 30 minutes before an athletic performance, you will not have a muscle fatigue, because it just replenishes and rebuilds so much. It is a perfect food, the perfect fuel for your cells and mitochondria to fire them up. So it's fantastic for hydrogen, for athletes or weekend warriors like us or whatever your athletic performances are, okay? So then we have celebrities in Kangen water. He probably is holding to some wine, but let's assume it's water. But yes, they are drinking Kangen water, and Kangen water does taste better in the wine glass, as Aerosmith said. So yes, there's lots of, and of course, what do they care about? They want longevity. They want youth. They want to stay younger longer because it's all about the exterior for so many of them. So this is, I believe, one of the best anti-aging tools, and they really appreciate it and they use it. So there are 6 types of technologies that you guys know you can get at the Kangen offices in Vancouver and Toronto, across Canada. There is a little bit of more variety when it comes to US and other countries. But the beautiful thing about it, so if we'll take a look at the very last machine, the K8, the latest model, and previous models, as a matter of fact, they all have 7 types of water, right? So we have drinking types of water, 8.5, 9, and 9.5 pH. When you just put a machine on your counter, please make sure that you just start with 8.5. You've been consuming toxic substances or polluting your body for so long. Just be kind to your body. Be patient. Give it a couple of days, then go to 9.5. 9. Couple of days, then go to 9.5. Does that make sense? Just be patient. I know you just want to go to 9.5 right away, and some people can. Some people can, but for some people, it's going to really debilitate them because they're going to flush so much toxins, and it's going to be so hard for them to manage and flush those toxins out. Because think about all the cells starts dumping toxins, and they're going to rush into the liver and kidneys and other detoxifying organs that have to neutralize them and put it through. So you all of a sudden have all these toxins at the door of the liver, and people can feel tired, fatigued. They might start, if they can't detox it from digestive system, they're going to start breaking out and detoxing it through a very big detoxifying organ like skin. So people can actually start breaking out and toxic through skin, so that could scare them from Kangen water. So you need to understand easy does it. Just be a little bit patient and do it smartly. Then we have 7 pH, just a neutral water for you. For people that consume medications, this is what the regular medications and consumption is studied on. So just stay in that range. A couple of sips of not consuming hydrogen will be absolutely fine. So take your medications with that water just to be safe. Not to be safe, but just as a precaution. That's what Japanese would like for you to be. Just be conservative about it. We have 6 pH water. What do we do with 6 pH water? Beauty water. We call it a beauty water. Is that gorgeous? Isn't it amazing water? How many of you have tried this? Awesome. You guys are rock stars. The best thing to keep your machine clean, and because it reverses polarities when it creates beauty water, is wake up in the morning and go to your machine and just, in gratitude, wash your face and just feel happy and just regenerate. It's a beautiful toner you don't have to pay $30-$40 for. And those toners, so many toners have a lot of chemicals. Now you have the beautiful toner without chemicals. And of course, you can go buy really nice, like rose waters and other waters, and colloidal silver waters and beautifying toners from Whole Foods and things like that. But think about how much it's going to cost you. You have this machine producing it at, without any failure all day long if you want to, while also cleaning your machine because of reverse polarities. So we have beauty water. Put essential oils in there. Just improve your lifestyle overall. Just enjoy everything that life has to offer. We live in such a beautiful time and we have so much incredible stuff around. Then we have 2.5 pH and 11.5 pH. So 11.5 pH is what allowed us to clean tomatoes. So what do we have here? Do you guys see one is more yellow, another one's white? So this was the tap water. Did it wash tomatoes effectively? It doesn't look like anything went washed off, right? What is this, you think? What's in this water? What's diluted and dissolved in this water? Pesticides, herbicides, larvicides, fungicides, hundreds of different chemicals that are allowed in our agriculture. These are all petroleum-based chemicals. You do not want this in your food, in your body, in your cells, in your blood. You do not want this. They're all cancer-causing. So eliminating cancer-causing elements is not only bringing antioxidants and preventing cancer, it's eliminating things that cause cancer every day. So you not only get the highest quality water, you're getting the highest quality food possible. I always still recommend get your organic food, get the cleanest food possible that your grandparents used to eat. But if you can't, and wash both in this water, you'll see how much better your food's going to taste. So, So absolutely amazing to use 11.5. What else do we use 11.5 for those of you who have it? Cleaning. So fantastic degreaser. Fantastic for skin, guys, if you want to open up pores and put in some nice vitamin C mask or turmeric mask. We'll talk about that. Or if you want to do, you want to soak, definitely you soak your fruits and vegetables. Some people will soak their meat and soak other things to rehydrate, disinfect, do other things. So definitely using it in kitchen. But my mom washes her hair with it. Because what does it do? It emulsifies oil. Why do we wash our hair? Because it gets oily. So now you don't need to use shampoos and other chemicals. Of course, you can buy natural shampoos, but you can actually wash your hair and emulsify fats and oils from your scalp without using any chemicals, and she swears by it. I'm just too lazy to do it, but I think you should try. So 11.5 is incredible. Another opposite water, from when we're creating 11.5, we're also producing 2.5. This is, guys, the cost of this machine is covered just by producing this water. People underestimate how fascinating this water is. This is what they use in Japan, in Japanese hospitals, for treating ulcers, diabetic ulcers, eczema, psoriasis, acne, burns, cuts, any kind of infestation, any kind of, as a disinfectant. It's one of the best non-toxic disinfectants out there. So I've helped women with fungus on their toes. I've helped people with, acid reflux and H. pylori. I've helped people with multiple things. It's just such a fascinating. Lives have been saved by this, or amputations have been saved by this. It will kill E. coli, salmonella, necrotizing fasciitis, MRSA. It's an incredible water. In US, FDA-approved technology that just produces this water is $7,000. So think about it. And now you have this medical-grade device on your counter producing all of this. Isn't that fascinating? Oh, I want to bring her here and start dancing with her. She'll start crying. She's like, you people are boring. I don't know what they're just talking about. All right, guys. So this is incredible technology. It's available all around the world. We're so lucky to be familiar with the company that puts so much incredible investment in infrastructure, that has offices around the world, that has technicians around the world, accountants around the world, that supports us around the world. So I do hope that you have this device for your personal health and then have the opportunity to engage and expose other people that you love to this incredible technology everywhere. So I'm really happy that you got a chance to hear about this, for those of you for the first time or those of you who are learning again. Did you learn a lot? Yes. You guys are amazing. Thank you. It was such a fun, I had a fun time.